What's up, guys? Laura Sanko here. As always, I'm joined by Dean Thomas of The Dean Thomas Show, also known as Deep Waters on Paramount Plus. They
Yay!
should rename it The Dean Thomas Show.
They should. It's funny. I used to, when I was coming up back in the early 2000s, that was kind of my thing. I used to call it the Dean Thomas Show.
Really?
I used to, like in my gym, I had like banners and posters that said the Dean Thomas Show.
Love it. I love it.
Yeah,
Well, now you have your own show. You
I
can
have it. Yeah, I have it. Yeah,
start making your own merch and just put The Dean Thomas Show and then put Deep Waters and like smaller.
yeah, yeah. And then like their little names:
Yeah.
Jorge Masvidal, Chris Weidman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, I appreciate you taking time as always because we're going to talk about the UFC 330 co-main event, women's strawweight title, Mackenzie Dern versus Gillian Robertson. And obviously, this is an interesting one because Dean Thomas is Gillian Robertson's coach. So this one we're going to handle a little bit differently. We're going to talk about stats. We're still going to go over the fight as we can, but also at the same time being aware that Dean is deeply biased and B, aware that we want to be respectful of his, insider knowledge of things that he's preparing with Jillian. So if at any point you would like to plead the fifth, Dr. Fauci, you are welcome to.
I plead the fifth.
Yeah, you're welcome to
The
say,
fifth.
at the advice of my counsel, I don't remember how it went, but anyway, yeah, you can just plead the fifth. We won't be offended. This is a big one. You guys have been working toward this for 10 or more years now?
Um,
Longer than that.
yeah. I mean, the fight game is a weird thing because you don't necessarily everybody says it, but not everybody really means it or wants it or even works for it. Like some people get to the UFC just to get to the UFC, and then some people are just trying to hang on to their job, and then you get to a point where you're like, man, I just would like to win two in a row, and then it's three in a row, and then next thing you know, you're like, man, I'm on a pretty good
You
run, and
ranked.
then yeah, and now you're looking at like, yo, you're in the top 10.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a reality, and that's kind of how it was for us. It was, there was a time where I never would even have imagined her like being in the UFC this long, and then she goes on a run, and then she drops one, and she goes on, and she drops one, and then next thing I know, she's ranked 15, and then 12, and then not, and it's like, whoa, wait a minute,
Yeah.
and Dana's like, yo, I really like her, and so now here we are, and then it's like, you can do this. And I think that was important for her because just as I was thinking these things, she was thinking it too. Like, can I compete with them in the top
Yeah.
10? So, and now she knows she can, and
Yeah.
she called her shot. So this is a very, and these opportunities don't come around lightly. We're not taking it for granted, and we know how important this is. So we are doing everything we can to leave no stone unturned.
It's a big, big deal. It's a huge deal. And I love, I don't know, I love Jillian's journey for that reason. And to hear you say like that the title was not, it's kind of refreshing to hear that honestly, because I think that taking that approach, like what you just described, is a healthier way to approach things, especially as early as she started in her career. When she came to the UFC, came off the Ultimate Fighter, she had like 4 pro fights.
Yeah,
It was like 21, 20.
yeah,
She was
yeah.
a baby. So to be willing to just sort of set these shorter term goals, like I'm gonna win a fight in the UFC. I'm gonna win 2 fights in a row. I'm gonna get ranked. I'm gonna beat so and so. Instead of, not that it's delusional, but instead of just I'm going to be a champion, I'm going to be a champion. Like maybe that's in your heart, but I think sometimes when that doesn't happen on the timetable that you want, it just becomes so mentally defeating that fighters, they retire or they quit or I don't know. They give up on working as hard as they should. They're no longer all in on it, truly in the back of their mind.
Well, that's the good thing about this fight for her because, like you said, that level of goal setting, and it was because it was never we're going to win a title, and then when you lose one, you're like, oh shucks, now we're off track. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It was never that.
Yeah.
I remember there was one day she came crying, like in tears, crying to me, like I just want to be able to win 2 fights in a row. We're going to make it happen,
Yeah.
and we made it happen. And then we went on a run, and here we are because now she's used to being able to set goals and achieve them, as opposed to like this long-term goal that she was having like all these failures. It was always, let's just set this goal and let's get that. And here we are now. Now we're looking at a title shot in which like she's supremely confident, and we've both sacrificed a lot in order to make this happen.
Yeah.
So, but either way, man, like I'm so excited for this opportunity. And
Five
it's
fights.
like,
He's won 5 fights in a row already. Like that.
yeah,
That's got to be one of the longest winning streaks in the division. It's way longer than Mackenzie's winning streak is.
yeah, and she beat the most dangerous fighter. She just beat the most dangerous opponent for me that I thought in Amanda Lemos.
Yes.
Like I thought Amanda Lemos was a nightmare matchup for her, and I knew that going into that fight. And when that first round happened in that fight, I was like,
Oh boy.
this is exactly. I was like, oh, this was exactly what I didn't want to happen. And then she refocused, came back, and stunned it.
Yeah.
So she's got a tremendous amount of willpower.
She does.
Yeah, she's hard to break when she doesn't want to be broken.
Yeah. And the
She won't
truth,
break.
the same honestly could be said of Mackenzie Dern, which I think is part of what's going to make this fight really fascinating and really fun for the viewers, because you've got two women who A, are incredible grapplers and submission artists, but B, come forward on the feet, and C, will never ever ever give up on themselves. Neither of them will. So it's going to be fascinating to see whose will and whose technique and all of this, but we'll talk about that in a second. But before I go to the next piece, guys, please click like, please click subscribe. Please stick around to the end, because we've got some fan questions that we're going to get to that you will not want to miss. Dean, let's talk about some stats, okay?
That's my favorite part.
Right, I'm sure it is. Let's see here. Mackenzie Dern is 5'4". She has a 63-inch reach, and she is 33 years old. And we've got Gillian Robertson, who is 5'5", with a 63-inch reach, and 31. So all pretty similar in terms of height, length, reach, age, all that good stuff. In terms of strikes landed per minute, 3.47 for Dern, 2.71 for Gillian. Striking accuracy is 41.6% for Dern, 48.5% for Robertson. Strikes absorbed per minute, 3.93 for Dern, 2.86 for Robertson. Striking defense, 52% for Dern, 56% for Robertson. Takedown average for Dern, 0.93. For Robertson, it is 2.76. So a massive difference in terms of offensive takedowns achieved. Takedown accuracy is 18% for Dern. It's 40.9% for Gillian Robertson. Takedown defense is 37.9% for Dern, 38.9% for Robertson, so very similar there. And submission attempts per 15 minutes, 1 for Dern and 0.87 for Robertson. We'll actually look a little deeper into that stat in a bit. Anything? I'm assuming you knew all that. And
I didn't know any of that actually. I'm not good with stats. I don't look at stats. I look at the action.
Yeah, a lot of times they tell, I don't know, to me they either reveal a new wrinkle to the story, but if you only look at the stats, sometimes you can get a wildly different picture of what someone is. I just think it's always interesting to compare the two.
Yeah.
But I think it's really interesting that people, clearly Gillian's offensive grappling, at least in terms of getting the takedown, is quite a bit more successful than Mackenzie Dern's is.
Well, that's part of the system. That's our way of getting the fight where we want it to be able to finish, because we're always looking to finish. So getting the takedown is our way of, and we want to shoot often and frequently and get it down and finish, so that we can get a sub, try to get that extra bonus.
Gillian has a ridiculous number of records. It's pretty cool what she's been able to achieve. Most finishes in UFC women's history. She's got 7 submissions, 10 finishes total. She's tied with Amanda Nunes, so she could break the record with a finish here. 7 submissions with just 12 submission attempts. And she's got the 5th highest submission accuracy in UFC history. That, to me, is a new favorite stat. We talked about that in the main event video, because Islam has a very similar stat where he doesn't necessarily attempt submissions as often as you would think, but when he does, his accuracy in finishing someone with a submission is incredibly high. And I just thought that was interesting that both he and Gillian seem to approach things the same way.
We know when we got it. It's like, when we practice, I call it scoring touchdowns. I'm like, score the touchdown, go all the way till you finish. You want to practice that. You want to practice what that feels like to have that chain of your body going into from takedown to getting what you want to getting to the next position, all the way to the finish. Because the one thing I noticed that most fighters do is they stop somewhere in there. They stop. Like they get a takedown. I call it, especially off takedowns, like I call, man, you're not parking the car. You just take them down and you let them back up. When you're drilling, I'm like, you got to be able to park the car and know where you want to go next. So for Gillian, we work on that stuff. We take them down and we know the next position we want to get to right away. And then we know we know the general reactions of people to get to the back. We're trying to get to the back and get to the neck. And we're not even, doing the traditional seatbelt hooks. We're getting to the neck before they even realize it. So by the time they're like, I'm trying to get to my feet, they're like, ah!
Yeah.
The shoestrings around my neck.
How many times has she done that? I know she's done it at least once or twice where she has gotten the rear naked choke with no hooks whatsoever.
We don't really put hooks in. Like we don't do it that way. So and that's part of the reason why the accuracy is so high, because we're more willing to stay on top and punch than pull somebody on top of us to go for like a rear naked choke with hooks in. Like that to me is like, because the downside of like when you're in that position, they pull them on top of them and they're trying to get the choke and they're fighting your hands off. It's just like so hard to get that choke. So our goal is just stay on top and punch them. And eventually they're going to give you the back and then you can choke them.
But even when she takes the back, a lot of times she doesn't put hooks in.
No, just go right for the neck.
It just goes right for the neck. Which
jump on it.
Is interesting because it's kind of counter to the whole like position over submission. But what you're telling me is that there are times where in your system you value speed to submission over what would be considered proper positioning.
Well, the position is in the submissions. You know what I'm saying? So like it's still position oriented. It's just a different position. We're not hunting for like these hooks in this control, and because no one's going to let you get it at that point. We're trying to beat you to the spot so that you're not trying to escape the position. Because when you go position over submission, now you give them an opportunity to escape the position. So now when you go submission first, which position is built into it, there's no position to escape except for the submission. And if they don't, that's a wrap. It's over. You don't get out. You got to tap.
Talk to me about how you guys structured this camp. Is she someone who likes to spar a lot? Does she not spar much? Is she?
No, she spars a lot. She spars more than I would. Yeah. No, she spars more than I would like her to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and she spars 3 days a week. And yeah, one day she'll spar with females, and the other 2 days she spars with guys.
Interesting.
She spars with you might know Roy Echevarria. He was on The Ultimate Fighter on Chael Sonnen's team. No wait, DC's team. And then he was on and then he also did Dana White's Contender Series.
Yeah, that's how I remember him. Yeah.
Yeah. She spars him, one of her main sparring partners, and she spars with a young man who fights in Fury or LFA. Named Adrian, I think Garcia is his last name.
So she's got her. So that's interesting that she spars so much.
Yeah.
What does she tell you? Is it just a timing thing for her? I mean, it's kind of
she just likes to be in the fire.
Oh.
We drill and then she just likes to spar and test it. So we drill a lot and then she just tests it in the fire with really good male fighters.
Yeah. It's impressive that she's been able to be so healthy.
Yeah.
It's a test. Because I know she wakes up early and does all her recovery stuff. And I was watching an interview she did with Ariel where she said she went to bed at like 7.
No, she does. Like if you don't, if you,
A woman after my own heart. I
no, she
love it.
does. Now, if we have a very like we're on the mat. We were on the mat this morning at 7:30 in the morning. In down in Miami. We're on the mat at 7:30 in the morning. So we both have to wake up at like 4 or 5 in the morning to get there. Traffic in Miami is terrible.
Yeah.
So she's in bed by 7 every night. Like if you try to text her after 7, you won't get a response till 4 in the morning.
That's dedication.
Yeah, she's extremely disciplined and OCD about her process. Like she likes her process, and she's very specific about it and very disciplined and determined about making that happen.
Talk to me about what you see in Mackenzie Dern to the extent that you feel comfortable, describing what you see as, in her as an opponent specifically for Gillian.
Well, I think she has, like you said earlier, and I'm glad you said that about not quitting on herself, because I think she has an underrated heart. Yeah, I think that's one thing that gets overlooked from her, because she's a pretty woman, and she fights, and a lot of times those attributes are never attributed to that look, because when you know what I'm saying, like when you see that, you don't think of that, but she's got a tremendous amount of heart. She's very athletic. Her jiu-jitsu is world class, and her striking is effective. Like, it's wild, but it's effective because she's very aggressive.
Very aggressive.
Yeah, it's like and the one thing that makes her really dangerous is that you can tell she likes to fight. Like, she's like having fun out there. Like, she's not afraid to get hit. She likes to be in the fire. She likes to be there. It doesn't seem like the crowd or anything affects her and makes her fight worse. Like, she likes to be there, and she's very confident in knowing that if things go wrong, she can lean on her jiu-jitsu. So that's a very, and a lot of people have always looked at it as like, oh, this is a dangerous opponent for Gillian, because like Gillian relies on jiu-jitsu, and Mackenzie's the more decorated jiu-jitsu player. So we had our ways. We have our ways of trying to get around that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's no denying that Mackenzie Dern is a more credentialed jiu-jitsu player, but we're not playing jiu-jitsu.
Right. Well, yeah, that's the way I see it too. Like, that's, we're not doing jiu-jitsu, so.
Which, I wish I could ask you more detailed questions and you could give me like truly honest answers, but this is going to be so public. Maybe once we're done recording. I just can't wait to see, I can't wait to see how they match up on the ground, because in my mind, Gillian has actually the better MMA grappling. I think Mackenzie has incredibly dangerous jiu-jitsu skills. And there's definitely moments where Mackenzie, even if she's on bottom, that's where she might be the most dangerous. And Gillian likes to be on top and use her top pressure and use her ground and pound. And Mackenzie isn't necessarily going to be mad about, working from her back in certain spots, because she can look for triangles, arm bars, any number of things. She's also pretty good in the scramble. I can't wait to see how these two match up, but I do think it's interesting that, I don't know, Mackenzie seemed a little bit, maybe dismissive isn't right, but like a little bit, like, I'm the jiu-jitsu girl. And
yeah, she did say that. She was like, I
is.
thought I heard an interview where she's like, oh, well, she's not as good as the girls I train with.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
It's a fight, though. It's a fight. I will say, I think that Mackenzie's striking has become a truly dangerous part of her game, whereas it was not early on. It was always a means to an end. In the beginning, it was like she was, walking into stuff, and her toughness would get her to where she could get her hands on people, and then she would drag them into her world and have her way with them. Now she seems truly comfortable striking for long periods of time and not feeling desperate to get takedowns. And I think that that's created a really interesting wrinkle to her game, where she doesn't have to get the takedown. And in fact, she can wait for her opponent to make a mistake or for them to rush in, and then she can capitalize and use their momentum. She's definitely evolved. I will say that for sure.
Yeah, and I attribute a lot of that to Jason Perillo.
Yeah.
I've seen the work that he's done with her, and it's been truly instrumental to her success and her progress. And I remember there was a fight where he wasn't working with her, and she looked completely different. Like she looked
I
lost, and
remember that.
yeah, remember that.
Hmm.
So I'm hoping that they are not training it for this. But no, no, I'm expecting them to be really sharp and for her to be on her game because, again, like I know she's a tremendous athlete. Like you said, made a lot of improvements. She's strong and she's very athletic, and that helps her to be just aggressive. And she can always rely on just, things go bad for her, she'll jump guard and get right to work.
Hmm.
So, and she's always thinking offense. So those are a lot of things that we had to prepare for.
Do you think that there's a possibility that this fight ends up being mostly a striking battle, or
I
no?
mean, it could be. We've prepared for that as well. We've
Mhm.
prepared for that as well. Like it literally could be. Like you know, if Mackenzie's trying to get takedowns and Jillian's trying to get takedowns, and they're just stubborn about that, then then that might be a reality
Hmm.
where they're just out there like Hagler and Hearns. Could you
Well, I
imagine?
mean, it would be like two cats in a bag because both of them are pressure forward, aggressive strikers as well. I mean, there's no way that this isn't a fun fight. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is definitely going to be a fun fight because of the mentality of both of them have. Like you know, Mackenzie's a great competitor, and she's there to win, and she's there to just have a fun fight and put on a really fun fight. And Jillian's not necessarily there to do that, but she's there to hurt
Hmm.
Mackenzie. She wants to hurt her. And in order to hurt her, she's got to do those things. So, like that, when you put those two together, like, so I think Jillian's favorite fighter is probably Justin Gaethje. She always comes back with like Justin Gaethje quotes.
Yeah.
Like, always, like, Justin said this, because he was her coach on Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah.
Justin said this, Justin said. So she kind of takes the Justin Gaethje approach when it comes to fighting. Like, I'm here to hurt you. Like,
Hmm.
I want to hurt you. So with her mentality and then Mackenzie's mentality, I think they're both just going to be stubborn and they're just going to go at it. Um, and it'll be interesting for me because I'm always, Joaquin Buckley said before he fought Brady, he was like, man, I can't wait to see what y'all was working on, to see how it goes up against what I'm working on. And I'm like, I love that
Yeah.
because that's exactly why I do this. So I can't wait to see what we've been working on to see if it works against Mackenzie.
Yeah. I love Jillian's attitude. I love her smile. I love her like when she gives interviews how there's no other word, but she's incredibly cute. Like she's just so you probably known her too long. I feel like you almost rolled your eyes there. She's to the audience, she's very cute because she smiles a lot and she's very up and she's, positive and like has all this energy. And then like you said, she goes out there and she just wants to fuck bitches up.
Yeah,
That's
she,
the
that's what
only
she
way to
wants to do.
say it.
But you should see the way she talks to me at 7:30 in the morning.
I was just saying, I'm sure there's a different side of her that we don't see in interviews.
Oh yeah, there's a much different side. No, but I get what you're saying though. Like and I don't think it's fake.
No,
Don't trust me. I'm not thinking like, oh,
every time
who is
I've ever
this girl
talked to
out there? Yeah, who's this girl all bubbly and cheery? But
no.
no, but when it's time, but like I said, if you interrupt her process with training, she turns into a demon.
Mm,
She will be a demon. Like if she's not getting it's very important to her. Those things are very important to her. So this fight is
I can
very
appreciate
important to
that.
her.
I can
Is
appreciate that.
yeah. So, we're gonna go out there, like the warm up has to be right, like all these things have to be right. And when she gets going, she's hard on herself. Like it has to be the way we've been doing it. So like, when we're drilling a move and she messes it up, like let's do it again. Like she's very hard on herself. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a great fight either way. Hopefully in my favor, our favor. But yeah, we're not taking Mackenzie light by any
Of
means.
course
We
not.
understand how good she is.
Do you want to make any sort of prediction about, if all things go as planned, what does the fight look like?
Um,
And you don't have to if you don't want
I
to.
think I think I think early. I think early it could be close because they're both going to be jockeying for the positions that they want. But I think it's going to be a lot of action. But I think it'll be be close early because they'll be battling for positions. But I think just if it goes the way I want it to go, our system is so structured, and Gillian won't deviate. She won't audible, and she don't have to because we have so many structured options to go to. So she won't have to just try to freestyle it if it's not working.
Yeah.
So, the way I see it is, we're gonna try to put it on Mackenzie and take her to a place she's never been before.
All right. I can't wait to see it. All right, let's go to a few fan questions before we wrap things up here. I tried to pick out ones that would probably be mostly okay for you to answer.
Like, Dean sucks.
Yeah.
Why is he on the show?
How's Dern gonna win?
Yeah.
Let's skip that one. Danny Maloney 13. Does the fight make it to the championship rounds?
If I had to guess, knowing what I know about fighting and knowing what I know about the two women, I think it does make it to the championship rounds.
I agree. They're both very, very tough and very skilled. Slap_news. Just for fun, who would win in a power slap match?
Between Gillian and Mackenzie? Probably Mackenzie.
I hate to say it, but Mackenzie's got some shoulders on her.
Yeah.
Love you, Gillian.
Yeah.
Totally different sport.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about
She's not a slapper.
Like she slaps really hard.
Yeah, we're not slapping.
Agent_K_187. Dern has been out of the cage for almost a year and doing a lot of other events and things. Is it rest or is it rust?
Well, when you've been involved in a sport for so long, it's not as big of a deal. Like, competition's not as big of a deal when you take a year off. So it could be kind of rest. But then there's also other factors. Like, it could be a distraction, and that's different from rest, and that's also different from rust. So, but we don't know. Like, that's one thing we don't know. I don't think it's going to be rust. I'll tell you that. I'm not expecting that. But whether it's a distraction, that can be a factor, or it could be rest. So, but it's not going to be rust.
Yeah. KKADENW, whatever. Oh, I included this for a specific reason. Do you think that Robertson was given a title shot too soon? Dear sir. Dear sir. Dear sir. I'll answer this one, Dean.
Yeah, please.
Gillian this is her 21st UFC fight. 21st. She's been in the UFC over a decade, okay? She should be in the running for who worked the longest and the hardest and who had the longest and hardest road to get to this spot, not who was given a title shot too soon. I was like, what?
This is the 21st UFC fight. Gee, I didn't even realize that.
Yes.
But yeah, like, come on.
21 UFC fights.
Like, she's ranked 5th, but then, like, everybody above her had already either had an opportunity or is hurt. So
she's on a
she was next
5-fight
in line.
win streak.
Yeah.
I'd have to pull up the rankings, but I can't think of anybody else. Other than Zhang Wei Li coming back, which would have probably changed the pecking order a bit, which she didn't. Gillian is the one.
Yeah.
This is not a gift.
Right.
Imagination.
Yeah. That's weird to me. Somebody would say that.
Well, but it's interesting though, because I'm not trying to be disrespectful to this fan. It's interesting because it does tell you about maybe certain people's general perception of Gillian as being young and like somehow new, which she's just not. Like, not in any sense of the word is she new to this game or new to the rankings at all.
Well, you know what? It also actually speaks a lot to the state of where women's MMA is right now.
Also, yes.
And that's one thing that we inadvertently want to change with her run that she has right now, is to try to inject some life back into it, because she's willing to fight. And with her style, I think she has a style that people, like, in a way, and I want to make this comparison very fairly and not be disrespectful to Joanna, because Joanna had a style that people resonated with because she was so aggressive on her feet, and they could resonate with that because she was like scary and aggressive on her feet. You know, and I think when Gillian really is in her zone, she can be that way on the ground. And I want that to really shine in her next couple of fights, so that when people watch her fight, they're not thinking, "Oh, bathroom break." You know, like I want them to be like, "Oh man, yo, this girl,
She's a
she's a
savage.
G. Yeah, she's a G." And I'm hoping that can eventually start to come across, because it's, and I don't blame the fans for it. I just blame that if it's not like protruded like in your face, then people just overlook it. So
Yeah.
we have to kind of get in people's face with this.
Well, she's certainly capable of doing that because she is vicious. Yeah, with the ground. She's had some vicious finishes. Um, Alon Cruz, who used to be in the UFC, so thank you for writing in, is the determining factor in this fight who can get the fight to the ground on their terms?
I don't think so. I think there's more. I think there's more
to
to it. Yeah, I think there's more to it than that. I think that they're both very positionally good, and I think, it might be hard to even hold the other one in the spot that they want. I don't see either one of them just like taking them down, passing the guard, mounting, and arm, like that's stuff that that's really old school style jiu-jitsu. So I don't really see that happen. So, and I think that it doesn't matter who gets the first takedown. Or I just think that this is going to come down to who's going to really win more moments, who can win the most moments, who can stay in control, and who can stay in their spots, and that's not necessarily on the ground.
Yep. Dean, I'm excited for you. I'm excited for
Yeah,
Jillian.
me too.
It's a big
I
deal.
can't wait. In Philly too.
Yes.
In Philly, and
Yes.
I grew up. I was born 30 minutes in a hospital in Wilmington, Delaware, from
Yeah.
Philly, and I grew up 45 minutes from Philly. My family's all in Philly. The places I train at in Philly. So like, I'm like, this is homecoming for me.
Do you have family coming?
No, I don't have family. They can't afford that ticket.
That's true. Those tickets are crazy.
Yeah, they can't afford that
Come on,
ticket.
Dean. You're on the broadcast, and are you going to be on the broadcast?
Yeah,
Okay. You're
I'm.
on the
I'm
broadcast.
actually.
You're coaching.
I'm working. I'm working the desk.
Get some tickets. Come on. Get a few. You can.
I got my boys from the gym coming. You know what I'm saying?
All
I got some of the homies coming, but
right. Good.
but no, I'm excited for this one. I can't wait to be there fight week and just to let this thing play out.
Yeah.
This is what life is made of. Is just putting yourself out there and making big moments happen
Yeah.
in your life.
And the journey up to it and
Yeah.
after it. Absolutely. Well, it's going to be a good one, Dean. I can't wait to see how it all plays out. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you guys, as always, for tuning in and watching. We appreciate you so much. And we will see you next time.